Hello Blender folks, welcome and welcome back. This is Gnomes, and where is it? Is it started? Yes, yes, exactly. So, folks, here is the number 3 of the online workshop, and I'm making great improvements. I hope so. They're gonna make this very short, so I'm making this better, shorter, simpler, whatever. So stage 1 is what we're gonna do here is gonna make bendy bones limbs. So this will be on the deformed skeleton and on the mechanism skeleton. They'll become the deform and the mechanism. They'll both become bendy bones for the shoulder, the upper arm, and the lower arm. And this is what I'm just decided to call bendy bones auto helper, because these limbs, they'll be able to solve lots of rigging problems of the character, organic rigging, right, of the character, with very simple setup. Well, it's not that simple, but it's much simpler than other features like yeah, it's much simpler, and you'll see why it is very interesting. So remember, we can convert bendy bones to regular bones. There's even an extension now for that. It's free. I don't remember the name here, but it is, yeah, better it's say here bendy bone. It's called the Bendy Bones Toolkit. Yeah, so anyways, so we're gonna start here on stage 1, and that's just one stage, so it's just this thing. We're gonna start with the forearm, which is the usually what we rig in this way with bendy bone, but we can improve this for the other things. So you see that right now. So let's look at the wireframe geometry, right? So as I see here, when we rotate, select this master, rotate RY, so we see that this bending, this bending, this y-axis bending is horrible. So we have this candy wrap artifact. So we can majorly solve it with bendy bones here. So there are different ways to do this. Without bendy bones, we'll use the twister helper bone setup, but we'll do the twister helper with bendy bone, and we'll use all the bones that we already have here. We're gonna reuse them to solve everything that relates to twisting, and that's very awesome-ish in my opinion. So even the handles, we're gonna do them for the bendy bone spline setup. We're gonna make them special, which whatever what we've got here. All right, so to start, we need to go to the deformed skeleton, and here are the, so Control-1 to check my shortcut for the names, right, of the bones in the armature object. So here we got this one. We're gonna turn it into a bendy bone. So we're gonna expand this thing here. Let's also look at the bendy bones tab here, panel here, and we can use 8 segments. I think it's seems good enough. It won't make too much difference between 5 and 8 in my opinion. So we're gonna use the straight vertex mapping because this is mostly straight. We don't want to have much bending of it. So in order to solve this thing, so we need to use some sort of handle system that will allow us to make this bendy bone automate correctly. The cool thing about doing the bendy bones is that if we use this setup here, we don't even need to automate the handles, the handle bones, because these handle bones will be stuff that are already adaptive enough. And beyond that, the bendy bone with its segments is already a derotator in terms of the deforms of the joints. So in some sense, we don't even need to build the automation of derotations like we would do with twister bones, twister helper bones, or even fan bones or fanny bones. They need a derotator system. But the bendy bone has, if we do this correctly, we don't even need to make this automation, the automation setup. So this is what we're gonna build. We have a message here. Hold on. Denzel Mob, welcome back. Do you think it's a good practice to set drivers on the bendy bone settings? Yes, it is good practice, but only, I would recommend, only use drivers. By the way, we cannot export drivers. We can export the drivers output in the keyframe, right? But we, in the deform, right, the motion of the transforms of the deform bones, right? But yes, we could use the drivers for these settings here, but it can make the bendy bone setup a little more difficult. So we can complexify, make it way more complicated. Remember I've used for some features here, usually the curve in, curve out, sometimes here, but these are very delicate. These one are wider, I think, easier to manipulate. We can use those drivers here. Is the only thing that Blender will respond. So sometimes it's the only way around, but it is usually for very specific cases. You don't need to use that everywhere, because that will make the bendy bone splines way more complicated than they need to be. So for example, here I'm not gonna use drivers for this setup. I'm just gonna show how we can use, for example, this ease in and out in very adequate way. So okay, let's build here. So I already got this here. Since we are here, let's also build this same thing here. So select the upper arm, shift left click the forearm, and let's right mouse button click in segments here and copy to selected. There we go. So here now we got also 8 segments here and here. Also for the shoulder deform bone, we're gonna add maybe 5 here, because it's a smaller bone. That should be good enough. All right, and remember the axis now, they are super important for bendy bones, because if the tail of the bone, let's say instead, if we have a handle bone, which I don't have here, but assigned, it doesn't have the same axis orientation of the Z axis pointing up here. It will twist the bendy bone on the rest, already on the rest pose, and this is very destructive. So this is not good. This will cause instant transforms. We don't want that. So well, of course we could have the setup already twisted from the rest position. Yes. So but that is kind of weird, right? Usually we don't want that. Then in that case, use the curved. I think that should work for twisting as well. But in this case, they are very straight here. We're gonna set to straight. Okay. So now that we've got these segments, now for the forearm, we need just to set the start and end handle. So the many rigs here use the automatic for the start of the, which is here, the head of the tap to edit mode, and then it just use here. We could use tangent or absolute. For me it will be absolute, because here I have 2 options. I could use the deform hand, but to keep it organized, I'm gonna use the tweaker. So I'm gonna use the end panel here and enable this solo tweaker skeleton. So we add the solo tweaker skeleton with the deformed skeleton. But before we continue, we're gonna make some changes to these tweaker bones here, because in order for them to serve correctly as handle bones, handle targets, we're gonna have to change their orientations. RZ, RY here, apparently. Yes, I'm using local, so here it would be better to change to normal. RZ, I see the Z-axis here, right? So RZ, we're gonna do RZ 90 degrees. No, it's ESC is the opposite. So because it's aligned with workspace, we can just RZ negative. We can just do this. And so we're gonna shift left click this and Control Alt A. We're gonna, no, sorry, it's the opposite. Shift click this. Now this is the active. Control Alt A. Let's align everything here. And now they are, just to make sure that they have their transforms orientations are there. Wide, apparently we have some, it's not perfect here. Or wait, maybe it is perfect. Hold on. I think it's the Y. Yeah, is this. Okay, so it's equal here. So it says this is equal to this. Head and tail. So this is, you don't have to change anything here. So they are totally orthogonal to workspace. I'm not sure here if probably will be good if we have then duplicates of them, and then these will be on the original position, right? Because right here, if I RZ 90 degrees, let's say if I use this as handle right now, the tweaker bone here, the tweaker wrist here, which is like a F key bone, right? But it's individual, right? It's there's just a tweaker for the hand or wrist joint. Okay, so this tweaker we can Control 3. We can okay, we're gonna select it alone. F2, Control C. We're gonna get this bone name here. Then we select the bendy bone, and here with the absolute end handle, Control V. So here you see what happens when this tweaker has this orientation. So this is not good, right? So this is why what we could do is make this become handle and then make tweakers with this kind of orientation. So it's so it will be aligned with workspace in a specific way, right? Oriented with workspace, pointing up. So maybe it's good or bad. I really, this is very arbitrary, but there is a logic. The logic would be, okay, if I want the z-axis to be pointing up instead of the y-axis of the bone, then here it yeah, so maybe I would like to have the bone actually rotate along the x negative. So maybe I would like to have this alignment, so then that will be completely aligned with workspace. So technically, I don't know as an animator, it's also preference. I really don't know what would be ideal at the moment, but I know that the orientation matters, especially if animating with curve, the curve editor, because then you can isolate, right, the location, for example, the Z location of the bone, and then you can make some cool stuff. But it's, if you don't have this, so it's very easy to add, usually, to add these extra bones to have this orientation. But in certain setups, it can be very nightmarish. It can get complicated. So we're gonna keep it simple. This is why we're gonna, so you see, I need this to be aligned here. Also, let's step to pose mode, Control 1, Control 3. Let's clean up something. Control 4. I need to, I'm gonna resymmetrize them later, so ignore the right side right now. we're gonna control 3. We're gonna change these gizmos here. Not gizmos, sorry. Control tab to pose mode. We want control 4 for the. We're gonna just shift click this tree, and we're gonna go to viewport display. So we're gonna change this to 0. Hold Alt, Enter, and there we go. And yeah, and then if we can already symmetrize from here, right? Just these bones. So okay, so now the problem. Okay, we see that the absolute handle here of the bendy bone of the forearm is working, and it's targeting the tweak wrist. Here I'm not sure these are gonna be useful, so I'm not gonna use this setup. This is more for scaling stuff. Unsure right now. So you see, something is not really working right at this moment. I suspect that it is because let's isolate. So select the forearm, shift select this and shift H. Their orientations are matching. So this is another good reason to maybe have this tweaker as a handle, a specialized handle instead. So we could have this the same orientation as here, as it is right now. But you see, this forced me, instead of have a good reset like this, now I have to use this one. Okay, so I'll have to use this one. I'm not gonna change the... Although, yeah, I'm not gonna change this axis because the mechanism skeleton here will also become a bendy bone, and it also has these same orientations here, following the orientations of the control skeleton. And the reason why this matters, it doesn't matter for parenting relations, really, but it does matter for bone constraints. So we're gonna keep it simple. We're gonna leave these alignments like this. So we're gonna sacrifice this orientation of the tweaker, right? But at least it is, now it has this alignment with the other bones. Okay, so let's clear this for now. And now control tab to Q, pose mode, control 3, control 1. Let's see what is going wrong here. Apparently something was going wrong. Was that just in my impression? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I was picking some bone. Yeah, I was picking multi-selection. So that's why. So okay, now let's just make a quick test here. So get the control rig, and let's try here. You see the automation. Okay, so you see this is kind of good. Yeah, right. So here we already gain immediately R with the master I key hand, R, Y. We see that we are immediately getting some wrist twisting, and this is a major improvement here already. Very good, right? So this might also make a few changes here. Okay, maybe sometimes not very good here, but also remember that we're not using here subdivision surface modifier. It could get worse, but for me it's in simplify, render tab here. I've got this simplify, shift control alt I as the shortcut. Right, you can assign a shortcut here, right mouse button click, add to quick favorites if you prefer, or assign change shortcut, and then of course set maximum subdivisions to whatever, 0 to a very low value, right? For me it's 0 because I usually work on low poly. So okay, so this is very good for wave painting actually, and assessing some other stuff on modeling and rendering, of course, compositing, whatever. So here if we check with the subdivisions, yeah, we might see that this is a little far from optimal, but this is kind of kind of adequate, right? So here, what I'm doing is that I'm Rx. Oh, by the way, I'm using normal. Let's change this to local and pose mode. R X R Z R Y. Actually, I've just X Z Y, right? Just toggling this and R. So this is the trackball. This goes. Usually it works fine. So you see, this is very. It's kind of very nice, right? So apply with left mouse button click, select all, and Alt Q, reset, clear all transforms. Okay, which is another shortcut that I've made from here. Clear transforms, all. You can assign shortcut here as well. Okay, this is not ready because this is just the tail of the bendy bone. We can do also something for its head. And so what we can do for the head is the following. You see that we have this one. So here I have many options. I could use the deform, right? The tail of the deform, this one, or I could use the tail of this control 4, right? To disable the widgets. Control 3 to look at the axis. I could use the tail of this tab to edit mode. Alt H. I have some invisible hidden bone here. So yeah, I could use this tail, or I could use the tail of the of this bone. Yeah, it is it's very small there. No, it is this big one here. And even we could use the not the control skeleton because it gets offset. Control tab from here, control 4, it can get offset from the, you see, and then we don't know. This is why I need to constrain this stuff to always the deform rig, the helper rig needs to be constrained to either the mechanism skeleton, which follows the tweakers, right, the fake F key, right, that I do. And so we cannot use these as handles. This will cause problems. So if in the case of offsetting, so this is the logic of this rig. So what we can do is we could use this or this, but for consistency, I prefer to have this as a specialized tweaker, right? Handle, sorry. So I'm reusing the tweaker as handles. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna select it, the tweak elbow left, F2, Control C to get this name. Then we go to the bendy bone and we're gonna set, instead of automatic, because actually this bone is parented, this def forearm, let's hide some mechanism skeleton here. The def forearm, by the way, this is interesting. Let's collapse this. Very important. I've learned it from somewhere else. So you can expand this thing. Then what we can do, this is a new feature of Blender 4.5. We can, but first what we're gonna do is we don't want to show header, so take this off. We actually, hold on, we need to show this off because there is this option here. This is the new option. I just want here the drag here with left mouse button click just on the bone tab, and then we can, no, not gonna pin here anything, so just want here for the relations. So you drag this up, and now we open this, and we can control hold the mouse wheel here, the middle mouse button actually. And then, okay, get a good size. I just want to be seeing the name of the bone here and the name of its parent. Sometimes we get confused, but this is good enough. And then we can reduce this. Sometimes the connected is good too. Then we can reduce this, bring this up. Yeah, so it's not great, but that's good. That usually is very usable. So okay, save here. Now we see that for the deform arm, the parent is the mechanism forearm, right? So it's the mechanism, it's exactly on that position. Even though it's not a bendy bone yet, it will be a bendy bone with exactly the same properties. So we ignore the mechanism rig right now. We are gonna, bendy bones here for the forearm, deform forearm. Control V here. Automatic, it will be for, because there is nothing here, it will just be, it just gets straight, like no head root handling of the bendy bones beginning. So this is stiff, but sometimes this is the best setup for a simple forearm rig with twisting. You just want this twisting here, but we can improve this. We can make twisting from the joint there, and that is why we can use here. So in this case, Control 4, we want, I cannot use the tail here for this. I need to use the, I can use the tail, but it needs to use from the head, because it's already extrapolating from the base of the bendy bone. So we need to use here tangent, which will use the head. Control V, so this is the tweaker. And so now what we have is that this allows the bending of the bendy bone from its tail, but it's a bit awkward. So this is why we're gonna make a new setup for Control 4. We're gonna make some adjustments here. So you see, although this is making interesting developments there, it's not always that good, right? You see, this is bending crazily the bone, but the mesh is actually okay, except that the elbow gets a bit displaced, so too much curvature here. So select all, Alt Q. So how to solve that? Let's hide this skeleton stuff. So what we need, the tweaker, back to the solid tweaker here. So solid tweaker and skeleton and deform, solid deform skeleton. Okay. So in order to this, we're gonna do special setups. So this is very important. I have some values here. You don't need to do exactly the same, but something like that. So we're gonna go on pose mode. So tap to pose mode here, and you see that the ease in and ease out, these are similar to curve in. I think it's the Z, I don't remember which one, but they are something. But we can use this instead. It's simple. It's simpler to. It's closer here. But they are very delicate, so be careful. So what we need to do here is make some tests. So we can directly use this. So I want to see which kind of... So this is the ease out, is the tail of the bone, right? Of the bendy bone. So we're gonna see what we want here. Do we want something like that? No, we want something more like this maybe. So I want, you see that this is from 0 if I reset, backspace. It's a negative value, but what is happening is that I'm reducing the value here. So I need to reduce this in about 0.7. So minus, so it's not negative, it's minus. So I want to diminish, subtract about 0.7 from it. Yeah, something like that. So what I'm gonna do is, now that I memorize this, I go on, or take a note, go on, tap to edit mode, and now on edit mode you see that these values reset to 1. They start at 1. So we're gonna make a subtraction here, 0.71, and there is some change that will occur here. Right, you see that we can easily destroy the bone in some ways, but this is okay. Reset. So we want a negative value. So remember, reset. So it's 1 negative 0. Minus 0.7. So that will give us 0.3, for example, at the out. In my first attempt here, well, before I made 0.25, keep it simple, right? So it will easier if you lose, easier to memorize, to restore, right? So then tap back to pose mode, and now you see that this is 0 because this is a transform, while this is a rest position binding pose state. So this is not, yeah, it's a binding pose states transform. This is different, but basically we are setting that, we're saying that the bendy bone, and this is a stiff value. It won't change. We can drive it, but we're not gonna drive it. It will make the rig too complicated. And you see, this is making the bendy bone less bending. And if we want to reset, well, we can just Control C, reset here, tab. It's hard to visualize, but what we could do is maybe, yeah, I've subtracted from rest position 0.75, right? So that means that I would add here plus, yeah, actually plus 0.75. So that will be like, this would what I have by default. But no, I want the adjustments. So we reset this, tap to edit mode, so you have this good one. So this is for this. And as for the base, the root or head of the bone, we want the ease in on, so you use the pose mode just for testing. So do I want on a certain posing, like let's bend something, yeah, let's do some crazy bending here. Yeah, something, do we want something like this? Probably this is, so we're gonna ease in, let's get, no, I want something straighter, like something like this. So you see again, a negative 0. A subtraction minus 0.7 here that we need. So I'm gonna accept this, Control C, reset, and then we tab to edit mode, and here we do, oh, sorry, this is wrong. So actually, if I did that, I'll have all looping going to the negative. So this will be minus 1.7, right? Because the original and edit mode is 1. So this is confusing, but it's actually pretty straightforward. So actually it's just minus 0.7. So this will give a positive 0.3. And this is, yeah, a little different here, but you see it's not, the anatomy is different. So we need to do something that is adequate to Control 1 here, adequate to something more anatomic, right? So, or more anomalies, right? So, okay, so this sounds good here. Sorry, let's message. I saw on my rig where the fingers were rigged in such a way where the curvature can be sharp or curved, like if you use start and end bone in bendy bone settings. I don't know how we can make this. Oh yes, you can actually, if it's Boolean, like on-off toggle, we can we drive this thing? No, we can't drive this thing, but we can, what we could do is probably drive some of these features. Like you see, I could make it straight, probably using these drivers here. If I drive these values, I can change gradually, even gradually. So that's great. So this is, I believe that is how we can achieve that. So from here, I had a very bendy bone here at this end handle, and then I end the tail, right, of the bendy bone, and then it becomes straighter. And I could go full straight if I set and edit mode this to 0 instead of the default 1, right? So probably this will make it automatic. Let's see. Set to 0 on edit mode, tap to, yeah, so you see, it's very, I believe it's bending a little, but no, it's the effect of the other hand. So you see, this is how we make the ease out. So this is controls the bending. So let's go back to tap to edit mode, 0, I think 0.0205. So this, I think this is the answer, Denzel mob. So this is we can drive these things. Of course, on pose mode, we need to drive them, right? Add driver. So, okay. So we'd have to manipulate the value. Here we're starting with these values, so you need to take in account what we want to add. So I need to make a driver for this or this or both, that I would add or subtract a certain amount for it to reach in between 0 and 1, and so, or 0 and or no bending, and 0.3, right, maybe, or maybe more to extrapolate some more bendiness. Okay, let's return here. And then for the, okay, so also we would like to go to get the control rig, select Alt Q. We're gonna clear our transform. So here it's easier to pose because it's inverse kinematics, right? So here we see that apparently we're getting good deforms there, but we can do more. It's not over. Now this completes the setup for this. So we don't need to do a dead twister bone because the bendy bone with this setup is already twisting, right? And you see that it, although, okay, let's check here. You see that it doesn't matter if I, no, hold on. If I select this bone, this bone, this bone, and even this bone, so Control 3, no, we want the axis, Control 3, Shift Control Alt Z, let's take off this, and let's Shift H, so just get these bones available. Control 4, we don't want to see the gizmos here. Let's pick this bone and Shift Control Alt A to make this a bit better here, okay? So now we gonna, so this is the tweaker bone, right? Control 4, Control 4, then we R, Y. I prefer the Y for this twisting, right? So this is a good orientation for the control bone as well, for that matter. R, Y, we can see that it automates the rotation, the twisting of the bendy bone. So great. If I pick the master, right, Control 4, Control 4, the master I key hand here, Control 1, R, Y, it also twists, because the twisting is not a bone constraint, it's a more root, like a parenting thing, a parent property, something like that. I'm not sure, but it doesn't, so it doesn't care about what is it is transforming in space, okay, then it follows. So it's not like I need to handle this to this and then to this and then to this. No, it's not necessary because it's not a bone constraint. So it's twisting even if I pose this one, indirect posing, or even the aim hand if I RY. Of course, this is, let's clear the transform here, Alt Q. Let's get here, Shift Alt, let's make it a little smaller here, okay? So R, Y, you see it is also twist. So it's indirect posing works as magic, so that's great. So we don't need to bone constraint, just one setup here, absolute for the wrist is sufficient to have it follow everything that is higher on the hierarchy. So save here. This is done. We don't need anything else for here. Alt H. So now we're gonna do for the upper arm. So it's the same thing. We pick the, you see the orientation is here and the orientation of the tweaker is here. So we're gonna pick F2 here. Actually, this is the small z here, but it's not totally aligned yet. It's yeah, I think it is. Okay, so we're gonna F2 here, Control C, select the upper arm bone, and let's Control V here on the end handle, but it's automatic. This can be absolute or tangent, but I don't know what the tangent for tail, the end handle, so it's the same for absolute. So far I've seen, it's hard to tell any difference. Both usually work, but for the start handle is different. Usually for here we'll need absolutely to use the tangent, because if you use the absolutes with using this, the tail of here is extrapolating from the head of this bone, so which is there. So we need to go on edit mode, tap to edit mode, control F2, sorry, control C, copy the tweak shoulder, select the deform upper arm, control V on absolute. So if we don't have absolute, sorry, if we go now tab on control tab to pose mode, something weird I think would happen here. Apparently not. Select all, alt Q. This is weird. It shouldn't be working, but this would be tangent. This is something changed here. So I usually know that this is correct. So the absolute would probably will break at some point. So tangent for the start handle and absolute for the end handle, because the head of the is here and meets the tail exactly at that joint, even though they are not parented directly nor connected. So here we see that this controls this, and we see that this controls this. So what I'm doing is that I'm selecting the bone, R, whichever, R, double R, double R, or RX, RZ, RY. So you see that is all working. And the cool thing is that if you rotate one, the other stays in place. So one less thing to care about. We don't need to make the twister bones with bone constraints. No, it's all garbage. We don't need anything of that. Bendy bone with the correct setup gets, with this kind of setup, does everything for us already. It's inbuilt, so it's very, very smart solution. I was using bendy bone, smoother bones for the joints, while this already does essentially everything that those other helper bones systems I was trying to implement, and this is turns out it's much simpler, much better. But here we need still, for the bendy bone of the deform upper arm, make the same adjustment. So tap to edit mode. So what I have found here, you can test around, but here we're gonna do an edit mode 0.5, and the ease in we want 0.25 maybe, yeah. So this will make that, let's see. So if you see this is straighter now, so it's basically it's less than, tap to edit mode, so it's less than 1, so this is straighter, but not, less straighter than the, this will be a larger curvature, right? Not full curvature one, not full, well, not one, but half, so it should be a little curved, right? As for the ease in, it will be quite straight, just as this one, a little straighter than the forearm, right? But it will, so we have a more adequate femur there at the base, right, for the what regards its bendiness. So right, and then if we control 1, control 3, select alt Q, clear all transforms, that's control 4. Let's get here this master. Let's see what we get here. So you see what's the behavior of the bendy bone, so that's looking pretty cool. What has happened to the joint? We see that the joint looks pretty cool here, but it's still not as great. Maybe we need some adjustments on the waves. So we're gonna make a quick fix on the wave. So leave this pose here. This will be good to visualize the difference. Shift Control Alt Z for the overlays, the geometry, wireframe, right? And then we select the mesh object, Control Tab 7. I'm lagging here. Let's I have it's hidden, Alt H to okay, we need to set to 1 here, and then Alt H, the mesh is hidden, right? No more. So select this select box option. Here the geometry is a little more complicated to make the loops, So we Shift Alt left mouse button click. Sorry, no, Shift Alt left click, right? Shift Alt left click, Shift Alt left click. Yeah, hold Shift Alt all the time and get these selections. Then Control plus on the numpad. No, sorry, Control Z. I've Control. Oh, it's inverted. Okay, Control I to invert. Also, I need to simplify this stuff. Shift Control Alt I the simplify, so you take off disable all the subdivision surface modifiers. No more lag for me. So Control numpad plus, and okay, maybe Shift Alt left click here, and that is good. Okay, so this is our mask. Control save. So we gonna select 3 here for this bone selection, and now we're gonna select this bone. So left click here, or Alt left click is the same thing. So we can see that here we have some weird waves. We're gonna try to smooth this out in some ways. Yeah, so we're gonna start with this first one to use the mask. Then we're gonna, I have a Wacom tablet, a table, so, but if you don't, you still, I'll do this slowly. So select this on the wave of 1, right mouse button click to adjust here quickly. Okay, so let's paint this. Let's make this sure these waves here are correct. Okay, then we're gonna select the blur tool, or Shift space bar blur here, right, this one. Then we're gonna try to Shift F augment here the strength. Okay, it's let's blur this part here, maybe this too. We're gonna start to make a very blurred stuff here. Yeah, maybe this will help. Not sure about this, but let's keep blurring here. Whatever. What could go wrong with everything? So wave pane. So basically we got this. It's a bendy bone. Should we do this? I think this is a bit dangerous. So 1, click Alt click this one. Okay. Yeah, we see we have some extrapolations there, but not too much. So yeah, so probably you don't reach further there. We need more loops here. So I'm gonna just skip here. So Alt, let's go for this bone. 1 to the mask, back to the mask. Here we're gonna smooth this out, These ones. F to change the gradation, the size of the brush, right? Okay, so blurring here. It seems that we got some problem here with this in this part of the joint for some reason. Maybe I have some shift. Okay, shift space. The paint is hard, but this to read, but this is the brush. This paint is the brush. Okay, so tab to edit mode. Let's see what we get here. Maybe I have some wrong positioning of the bone. So what we're gonna do is okay, I don't want to lose the pose, so Shift save, Control S. Okay, let's go here and no, sorry. Oh yeah, let's Control tab to 4, object mode. Then let's do this. No, not this. Sorry, is the armature object. Select the armature object. Get this pose here and go to use this rest position. Numpad 7. No, well, maybe it could be slightly. Maybe it's slightly protrude, but no, it's kind of symmetric, right? It could be just a mesh thing. Yeah, maybe it's a mesh thing. You see, the mesh don't seem very aligned here, so we could try to use proportional editing here, make some small adjustments here. Let's select all this. Let's bring here the smooth. Not sure this will help anyhow, but yeah, something is weird about this. Okay, let's go back to pose position here. Okay, Control Tab to pose mode. Then we, yeah, we're still having this problem. Maybe it's some, okay, Control Tab again, select the mesh object, Control Tab to 7. So this is, okay, I've lost my mask, so this is gonna select box, Shift Alt, left mouse button, click here, 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 whatever, no, Control Z. Here, Shift Alt, this, Control plus, there we go, and also Shift Alt, left click here, and okay, this is my mask again, Control S. So we could have maybe some rogue waves. So Shift space bar here, paint. We need this to use the set wave. So it's Shift X is this very important sample wave, right? Shift X. Click on a vertex. Shift X. Actually, Shift X on a vertex actually. So you see the waves is changing there. That means that we are checking the waves that it is using. But this is not the option that I wanted. Actually, I wanted sample group, Shift Control X. So Shift Control X here. Def forearm, def upper arm. Oh, I see what's going on. Okay. No, I have some physics bones, but they don't they are not waves, but they are not they don't have bones right now. Yeah, so this shouldn't be, yeah, see, this doesn't change anything. There's no bones here, so it's not the culprit. It's just weird stuff, right? Something about the bendy bone. So you can, okay, let's Control Tab to pose mode, or object mode actually. Select the armature objects, Control Tab, and let's see if there's anything here on the bone tab that, okay, let's try it curved. No, nothing changed here. Tangent absolute. Okay, let's pose here. Now this is bad, right? So tangent, okay, it's very different, and I think it's better, but it's causing something. So maybe we need to make some adjustments here on the oh, I see. Okay, maybe we need more waves for this. Okay, let's do again let's try to bring some waves here. So 1 to disable this, go back to the, so we can shift bone, so alt toggle bone, so select alt left click this, and let's 1 again. Now the mask. Now we're gonna expand the waves, Control F here. Let's expand the waves here. You see, nothing seems to have changed. Weird, very weird thing here. One, alt left click here. Oh, okay. So maybe we can expand the forearm then. Okay, so let's augment these waves here. I'm not using auto normalize, so in this case, auto normalize could be good because there are just 2 bones involved, but we'll have more later because we'll have the fan bone system, although this system is quite um, good apparently for this, for the, right, it already solved the, you see, that's very interesting. Maybe this will cause critical failure later on. Yeah, probably this is very dangerous. I'm not really sure because now I'm using two bendy bones in the joint. It seems to be okay. Let's try this. This is a bit crazy, but okay, let's use the mask. So it's very dangerous doing this without the mask. Really, I'm not very confident on this, but one, select this. Yeah, look, this is horrible, of course. So this was very destructive. So Alt tab here. Yeah, it seemed to have improved some stuff there, but in the end, it was too much, right? So we need to smooth some stuff out here. There are just these two waves, bone influence here, so this might be very hard to get them to work together without any. They are auto helper bones, right? So they're trying to do everything on their own. There's too much for these poor bones, but they are actually okay. See, rogue waves. Control I. Waves. Okay, no, this will be very bad. Control negative until we mask all this. Set wave to 0. Right mouse button click, right? Control X. There we go. Then let's go back here. Let's control numpad plus. Let's try to go back. Okay, this. Save. Yeah, so here we have to go back here in time a little. I mean, yeah, fix this. I'm holding control to clear this. If you can't clear this, you'll need to use the subtract. Unfortunately, this is I'm using an add-on. An inbuilt extension is the easy waves, and then there's an option there in the add-on settings, which is the always auto clean. So this is why I can auto clean this, become black color. Okay, so although it wasn't perfect, here we see that in principle this is okay, right? So yeah, it's not okay, but it's feasible, right? Maybe I'm missing something here. This is much better when it deforms like that, but there's no automation here. Oh, actually, folks, so hold on. This is not over. There's also the mechanism bone. Yeah, so that's okay. Mechanism skeleton. So what we need to do here is to use the same settings for this. So we're gonna select the mechanism bone, shift alt, well, hold shift and click here again. Then what we're gonna do is that we're gonna, sorry about the wave painting madness, folks. So here we're gonna Lucas Smith, welcome, bro. So here we're gonna select the forearm, deform forearm, shift click here. No, it's the opposite. So select the first the mechanism forearm, and then shift click the deform forearm, and then let's do the batch thing, like it's sort of batch thing. Like for here we want on edit mode, right? Ease in, copy to selected, ease out, copy to selected, tangent, copy to selected, tweak, copy to selected, copy to selected. I have even a shortcut for this you can assign, so it's you can double right mouse button click here. So I've made a Control Shift V to copy to selected, right? So now what we got here is that these settings are exactly the same. And now, oh, forgot the here segments, copy to selected. Okay, so now it makes that when we go on the main, when we pose this, this probably will improve something now because the parenting, yeah, yeah, the mechanism bone had some way to influence the, I suspect. So it was necessary to make this. So now they are sticking together, while this other is being displayed. So I think it will make a difference here. So we're gonna see this in real time. I made some rotations here, right? But just to see what happens there. All right, so apparently this tweaker would need some automatic rotation. Now that I see it, it will improve. It will be a sort of an automation. We can do that, but if we do that in a moment later. So we're gonna just do here for this. So select the upper arm and shift click here. So go on edit mode. Oh yeah, we won't be able to do this. So I have this because I have the shortcut, we're gonna just do the same here. So no, sorry, it's the opposite. Shift click until the active is the upper arm, the form bone. Okay, shift control V. This display bone, B bone size don't matter. Shift control V, 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 shift control V. Yeah, and then tap to edit mode, and there we go. So it's not clear if we see any difference, but the fact is that now they are moving in sync. Rotate along X. You see, we can have, if we had this automation there for the tweaker bone, we would have a very good deform, although I just suspect that the elbow is a bit displaced, but still not perfect, right? But there's a kind of not too bad also with subdivision. Yeah, it's actually a lot of volume loss in this region. I didn't finish the waves very well also. Tragical waves in the end. Sorry about that. So I ended up having better results. Select all, Alt Q. So now just for the last one. So here the shoulder bone, we tab to edit mode. We actually we could use here the same. So the shoulder and the mechanism bone, we select both. I had here values. So the start handle, we won't change anything. We leave it like that. Sorry, the ease in, and the ease out we want. So hold, click, right, like click here, then 1.4. So this is a positive value actually. Alt enter, and so what it does is that control. Oh, we need to set the handle. So the handle will be this one, F2, Control C. So it's the control 1 is tweak shoulder left. All right, so we're gonna shift and shift here. Okay, select and select here. Then here we leave out at automatic. So we want it straight. We don't want this bending from this area. It will not be necessary, in my opinion, unless you have a better idea. So hold Alt here and set to absolute, and then click this. And I think hold Alt won't work here. Let's check. Yeah, it didn't work. So just select here and shift click here and shift control V. Also shift control V. All right. Oh, here we have a problem, is that we see that we are having some twisting. So in order to prevent this twisting, because the orientation of the this tweaker is like this, while these bones are oriented up. So we cannot set this here in any way that I know. So we need, in this case, we're gonna pick these two bones. It'll be an exception, unfortunately. And we're gonna shift click the tweaker, and we're gonna shift N, not control alt A, but shift N, not align, just a recalculate rule to active bone. And now they detwist because now they have these orientations here, right? Same orientation, so they are matching. And now we see that what this is supposed to be to do. So alt H, control tab to chew pose mode. Now what we have is that because of this alt that I've made a positive value here on edit mode, so it's slightly positive, it will have this sort of weird bending of the tail. So basically it will help creating this shape. Like I found that it will be good. So for the deforms. Oh, by the way, these ones will use curved. Select Alt Q. Yeah, so here we don't need, because this is not a deformed bone. By the way, I forgot something very important, is that we're gonna batch stuff here for all this stuff. So gonna select this, only solo the control, Alt H, make sure nothing is hidden, select all, and then bone tab. Let's go for the deform, Alt left click. There we go. Then we go back here for the mechanism, select all, Alt H, okay, select all again, and then shift, hold Alt and click again. So now we make sure that none of these are deformed bones, and you can check here, you see everything is okay. And then we deselect here and go for the deform, select all, and now we have a little problem because some bones here are not supposed to be, oh sorry, we don't have any handles here. Yeah, so we just enable Alt H, make sure nothing is hidden. Let's just make sure one thing. Are these bones working? Yes, they are working as before. So select all and shift click, or just actually in this case right mouse button click and copy to selected. Okay, so we don't need to do the double thing here. It's safer actually to do with the, in this case, the copy to selected operator. Okay, so save, Alt A to unselect all. Let's go back here. So this is the advantage to have this kind of collections here, organized this way. And now we can test, make some tests. So apparently, and also for the, select all, for some extra bones here. So for example, the control, there's probably some setup here that I might have forgotten. Let's see if the, no, I think I didn't change anything for this setup. Yeah, so it's just this auto helper bones here, really. Now we can check some deforms on the back of the shoulder. Also, we can, usually is the post the, here I have some very bad deforms, right, at the moment, but here we will need some improvements of the waves in this part, right? And also you need a helper system for the upper torso region, clavicle, collarbone, trapezium, and the What's the name of that capsula? Scapula, not capsula, not capsule. So we get this stuff, right? And we could use a helper bone, bendy bone, spline deformed bones, like to make an armpit smoother helper bone, but I'm not using this technique here. I think this, it could help, but it can be conflicting. I have another setup now with regular deformed bones, which also have inverse kinematics for all this region of the upper torso, and it's kind of cool, and I'm gonna show this, but it's not today. So here we probably, this is right, so see if we got interesting poses, but the deforms are still not not as accurate because it's not sufficient to move the shoulder. You need to deform also the other, to have skinning on the upper torso. So this is complex joints anyways. So select also. Did we do everything here? So I think that's it. So this will be, so what we have here is that we have this these cool automations that we can just with this bendy bones, twisting, bending, deforming. So see, they kind of solve at once many joint problems. The wrist, which is an intermediate joint, is very complicated sometimes. It is very straightforward. It's very cool. There is this idea that mentioned Denzel Mob, that we can actually have drive the properties of the bendy bone, so it could straighten up or be bending on demand according to the needs of the form. So we have all solved it once. Like we won't need even to make like a fan bone systems here, because this is solving the twisting, which is the y-axis rotation. It is solving somewhat the bending, like here, even on 90 degrees, it's very good deforms here. On here, it's quite good also. Here we have a little more problem on this part. Probably you can improve the weight. So here probably you could do some, I'll still make the dual fan bone systems in this rig. I think it will be good for all the 3 joints, but this will be next time. And then there are more stuff to do in the upper torso, and I feel more stuff for the control rig, which will be like pinning of the joint here with some even scripting stuff to make some custom properties. Yeah, whatever, we're gonna make some pinning. Okay, so that's it, folks. That was for this thing. So let's see stage 2. If you follow, if there's mechanisms for arm, yeah, we did everything. And so let's see if there's any difference here from the setup that oh, I'm still on stage 1, sorry. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, it's not too different. Yeah, maybe it's a little better. But the setup is essentially the same, right? And let's see for the waves. Yeah, so I see something smooth here, not too harsh, right? And also we could improve this with many ways. There's also the dual quaternion skinning, so this will I'll add for the joints. This probably will be an improvement. So you see, we can do very simple waves here. We can also attempt to maybe reduce some weights. I always forgot where it should be carved more in one direction than the other. I don't remember if it is here or here. I think here. I think it will be like here, but these are bendy bones, so it might be a little different. So we could maybe expand a little more here for this part, and right, maybe we could do something like here, and then for here maybe we can carve here. Not sure this will work in the case of bendy bones, because this is usually spline skinning, so it might behave different and might not be very adequate. So let's try here. Yeah, I see. It will be hard to compare right now. So yeah, probably I break something. I need to subdivision surface modifier. But you see, with bendy bones, we don't need to, oops, super lag with the, yeah, the elbow here start to be a bit weird. Oh yeah, we can see real time here. No, this bendy bone doesn't seem to. I'm having some trouble to understand what's really going on here for this. But anyways, I don't think it's the positioning of the bones. It's probably the algorithm that is changing from here. So we can't do this forever, right? But it's I think the ideal thing, if we find a magic trick here, great. But I think it's about, so we can, on pose mode, we can try to check. So the original here was this out is a positive, no, it's a negative from 1, right? Is the default on pose mode. So maybe we want yeah, more negative, it's dangerous. So yeah, it cannot I see. Okay, so maybe it's not here the problem, maybe it's here. So this is in 0.3, so maybe on pose mode, let's try 0.3. Yeah, so we could, I see it starts to bulge there a lot, right? Maybe we can augment this one. Yeah, this is good for the little, maybe we can add a little more here, like we can add maybe like 0.4, something like that. All right, this same, maybe this is a little better. And also another thing that, yeah, it looks better for the shoulder. The topology should be good, right? Maybe there's, here we could make some changes. Yeah, no. Yeah, the waves. Then we're adding. I have at least 3 other tricks to work in here, but you see, this can provide good results. And actually, here we could drive these settings here on pose mode. So you could drive this to have them automate according to the need. So on the is out. So this could be a solution to. But then for this automation, you have to know, you have to have a bone that would yeah. So there we might need some setting, right? So basically here, what might be important is to have this. Yeah, I remembered. So the wrist here, I think it's fine, but here probably we're requiring some sort of auto bending, right? I think this one is okay. if it remain as it is, right? But this one, probably this tweaker might need some sort of automation, although this can be dangerous for exposing, because it is parented to the, I've lost the parent. Okay, it um, it is parented to the control upper arm. So in order to have this automation, yeah, this is a bit tricky right now because I need to define something like I'm rotating along its x-axis. Yeah, so its x-axis, indeed, if we do normal, is this. So when the main direction of bending is a positive x. So basically, what we could do is that we need to automate this in some way that when the skeleton, so this I'm going slightly experimental here, but if I use this bone's x-axis, yeah, it is the same, I believe, or yes, they have the same alignment. So I'm gonna try to make some automation here. We're gonna try to add the copy rotation, right? Then we're gonna use local space, and we're gonna use before original, and we're gonna do just for the x-axis. So I think it is not responding. Yeah, it is not responding because it would need another. This could even cause a dependency cycle, actually. Yeah. It might be based actually on the. Oh, there's a way, another way. We can actually, but this is dangerous. Dumped track. Yeah, you can use a dumped track like here. Yeah, like this will be the crudest way. By reducing this to maybe half, we can still pose, but it's a bit locked. I don't like this, but on the good side, it has some sort of automation there, and this helps the joint a lot, as we can see. And right, it straighten up, so it's very, let's see in the brick of the joint here also, so it works in all orientations. So that's it doesn't have problem with the other rotations. It's just with the that x-axis rotation is a bit stiff, but it's not like a tragical. Yeah, it's in this case it's very feasible, and it has the automation, right? So this is actually the good thing, and we could think that this could have the same idea here. So we're gonna select this and shift select here, shift alt C, and maybe we can, yes, change the target here, control F2, control C, select, control V. It's still yeah, so maybe this is a good a good setup. Yeah, actually this is actually good because um, we still can rotate. It's a bit stiff on one of the, I think it's the, but this is not a bones that you need to rotate a lot, right? They are more about, it's not like super stiff. So this is actually the, there is one little disadvantage doing that, is that um, of course this bone will be displaced anyways. So it's not like having these transforms will disrupt its rest pose or something like that. So, but this can gives it some more complications in relation to transforms. This is why we might require some sort of, just parent them to some sort of these will be like handles for the bendy bones indeed, and then dedicated handle bones, and then we'll have these the real tweakers. So let's do this right now. So Shift D, and let's rotate X or Z positive like that. Then we're gonna change this viewport display. So yeah, this could be well, maybe we could just this green color. Now you have this if you want this orientation, or maybe even rotate Y negative, rotate X negative, rotate X negative 90, so they are aligned with world space. Maybe this is better. Then scale them up. Then yeah, this is very chaotic. So actually this tweaker bones, Shift G, select one, and Shift G, select by color. Alt M, let's move all these to the deform skeleton, right? They are tweaker bones. There'll be a little complications there for batching the deforms, but they're still easier to catch them in the deform skeleton, right? Right, this is not bad. Then Shift Control Alt X, let's do this. Now they have the wrong parent because we're gonna parent them individually to okay, now we need to find the, okay, these one is the already on the tweakers setup. So we're gonna select it, Control P. These are parented to the right, to the, okay, this is a master I key. This one is the control upper arm, and this one is the control shoulder. So we don't touch these parents, we just pick the old tweaker and Control P here, and this select and control then Control P. You know how to do this, right? Then at this point, so now we Control Tab. We want to change this Control 4, Control 3. Want to change this. I'm gonna delete these custom shapes here for these handles, because this will, I think this won't be beneficial. So custom viewport display, custom shape. So hold Alt Shift click that, then copy Alt selected, reset. This one by default is reset. So copy to selected, copy Alt to selected, copy Alt to selected, just in case, right? Let's leave it clean. And now these ones we're gonna, after we're gonna symmetrize, so we're gonna just change this hold Shift and Alt. Then we're gonna what we're gonna do here, we're gonna change here, I think it's just rotation on the X. Hold Alt Enter. No, not the case. What is the correct? Okay, it's not the X, sorry. So it is the probably something else. It's probably the Z. 90° Z, copy auto selected. Yes, something like that. Not sure I'm getting everything correct here. Well, this parenting thing, they shouldn't. They might have some bone constraint. Oh yeah, dumped tracks. All right. Just delete these things. Shift Control Alt C, a shortcut for clear all stuff. So here, yeah, so just some crazy stuff. So here we got, they are not very good to look at in this color. So I'm gonna get them back to this orange. And then as for these ones, we want to give them, oh, there are handles, right? So, and Control F2, instead of find and replace, yeah, so instead of tweak, handle, handle, and that should be it. Then this, we're gonna select all of them, Shift F2, strip characters, do this, and now it's time to reset. Also, I think now this is good. So on the Shift Z here to see this, we have a little disjunction there. Maybe this tweak elbow. Oh, the names. Okay, so maybe this parenting is no more needed. Let's see. Tweak wrist, tweak elbow. I think that I need to change this. Control 2. Ah, it is not parented. All right, let's okay, so instead of these copy transforms, we're just simplifying the mechanism. So because now you have this line tweaker, right? So it's just should work as a, right, you don't need the, we have the hierarchy seems to be working as expected. So you see this is all good, and then we can still control everything here, and we have this automation that is still reliable. We can still manipulate the fake F key, right? This is this tweaker for the joints, right? And here we have this automation. So you have some, yeah, so slightly improvements on the experiment. Also now GZ, you see along Z of the global world. Of course, even if you are normal or local, GX, GY, and so I don't know what RY. Oh, okay, so this is a little annoying. So maybe we'd like the twisting here. So yeah, so I need to twist this DR, while here we can twist with so it's a really question of preference. But it is good that at least it is orthogonal. So at least we had them orthogonal towards space. But what we didn't, there's a difference on how to, right? So this is why there are, maybe this should be handle tweakers, right? They just as before I created the extra one. So a lot of things that we can take into account. This should be considered for improvement. So first, let's go back, and I have sometimes this glitch here. Make sure everything is unsolid. Alt H to unhide everything. Go on edit mode, select everything from one side. Yeah, this one is okay. If it's accidentally select bones in the center, is not a problem, provided you don't get anything on the other side. Right mouse button, click, symmetrize, and now this should be the way to go. So now we have the automation. So that's it, folks. Sorry for a little mistakes here on deviation from the main sequence, but we got in the end a cool rig that is working. I've made even improvements from my original plan, slight improvements. And what we can do now, yeah, I say goodbye, but congratulations, Master Wizard. So basically, next time we're gonna address other features of the custom arm rig here, and you'll see how we can do a lot more, a few more actually, of cool features. And then my intention will be to go for something else like the leg. So thanks for watching, folks. I'm trying to make this short, but it's very hard. My habit of streaming is longer stuff, but we're gonna keep pushing until I get this thing right, or until it's too late for me. So thanks for watching, folks. Take care. Happy Blender. Have a nice week. See ya. Tomorrow I want to bring this back, maybe a little sooner if I can. So happy blendering, folks. Hope you enjoyed the streams, the workshops.